Hello everyone, I am starting off a new video and I think this is gonna be sort of like a vlog video that I had an idea for. And that is to read really popular romance recommendations that I've never read before, because I do read quite a lot of romance on my spare time, but I haven't really read any of the really popular authors slash books. And I've never read any Emily Henry books, and I've never read any Abby Jimenez book. I've never read any Colleen Hoover, which I don't think I will, but I'm just trying to set the scene here, and that is the point, that I haven't read anything popular. Or I haven't read a lot of the popular books. I have tried Ellie Hazelwood once, or twice actually. I read her, what is it called? Love Hypothesis, and I did not like that one at all. And then I read Bride by her, and I quite enjoyed that. That's like her paranormal wolf vampire book, which I really enjoyed. But I am going to give her another chance in her contemporary books, because I'm planning to read in this video Love Theoretically by her, which is one of her other STEM books that came out a couple years ago. And I'm going to read A Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I'm going to attempt to read Abby Jimenez. And for Abby Jimenez, I don't know which book to actually read, because she has like 6 books out, or like two separate series, and I just don't know. Like, I want to read Part of Your World, which is the first book in her series, is in one of her series, but the synopsis of that book just doesn't quite catch me. So I'm trying to give these authors the best chance possible. Like, I don't want to read something that I know I'm not going to enjoy, if that makes sense, you know? Because if I don't like the synopsis of the book, I'm like, I don't want to read this. And it's the same thing with Emily Henry. Like, a lot of her books that she has released, the synopsis just doesn't do it for me. Now, I know that there's probably a reason why she's very popular. I'm sure people love her books. But until she wrote A Funny Story, I didn't really want to read her books, based on the synopsis, I should say, because obviously I don't know, right? But none of her other books quite caught me. A Funny Story does. And I think that's the book I'm going to start with. Our main character, Daphne, was going to marry Peter. Peter dumps Daphne for Petra, who is his best friend. Petra's boyfriend, Miles, is now Daphne's roommate. When there are names involved, it makes more sense. Anyway, that's the start of this book. That synopsis really got me, so that's what I'm going to start with reading, and I will update you guys when I have an update and when I decide which one of Abby Jimenez's book I want to read. But I'm off tomorrow, thankfully, and that's when I'm going to do the bulk of this video, because I think you guys wouldn't care to see me at work because it's boring, right? Anyway, I will chat with you when I have an update. Hello. I gotta update you guys on the books that I have read, and I haven't stopped to update you because I'm eating them up like freaking candy. And I'm gonna do that while I get ready, because I have to go to the library to pick up a book that I put on hold. I might go to the bookstore too, I'm not sure. Like, I don't need to buy any more books, but I'm gonna try to go to the used bookstore and see if I can find anything that's like a bargain, so that I don't have to spend too much money. And I think I'm gonna film a video later, so that's why I'm putting makeup on, otherwise I don't. I'm gonna talk to you guys about the first book that I finished, which is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I started it at like one night, and then I only read like 10 pages that night, and then I went and I read literally everything else the next day. I absolutely adored that book. It made me realize like what people see when they talk about Emily Henry and how her books are so good. This is a story of I tried to explain this in the the intro to the video already, and I kind of like made a mess of it. But basically, our main character is Daphne. She was supposed to get married to Peter, and she's a librarian also. Peter leaves her for his best friend Petra before they're supposed to get married, and now Daphne has nowhere to go, and she decides to move in with Petra's ex-boyfriend, who was also left, and his name is Miles. You know, they start living together, and this is their romance. I absolutely enjoyed everything about this book. It was cute and funny, and you're following Daphne as she realizes that she has never been like her own person. And this has kind of to do with the fact that her dad was never there for her. It's like a trauma thing for her. She's always been a we. So she always thought that she wanted this perfect life, perfect marriage. She had decided to marry Peter, but didn't realize that she wasn't her own person when she was with him. This is like a fake dating situation. And I thought that this was going to be a lot more like cheeky with them, like, getting back at their exes and stuff. This is very much about the two of them. Daphne, she's a very closed off person and doesn't make friends easy, and that has to do with the fact that her and her mom always moved around when she was younger, so she doesn't feel the need to make friends because she will eventually leave. The people that she works with at the library thought that she was either in witness protection or that she was an FBI agent, which I thought was kind of funny. I adored it. I think this is a very quiet book in the sense that you're just seeing Miles and Daphne fall in love while they're dealing with these other things, and this is a lot about family trauma. Like, Daphne has trauma on her dad's side, and Miles has trauma with his parents, mostly with his mom. And this is about how the family that you choose isn't necessarily the family that you were born with. This book definitely made me rethink my stance on her books because it is so well written. These characters have so much personality and they're so fleshed out. And this feels like you're reading about two real people. I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and I absolutely adored it. It almost made me cry like a child because this book is about our main character, Brianna, and she has recently gone through a divorce. Her brother has chronic kidney disease and he has to go get dialysis, and Brianna is an ER doctor, and so is the male main interest. His name is Jacob. This is like their love story, obviously. But this book starts out because they start fake dating because Jacob's brother is getting married to his ex-girlfriend who dumped him and then started dating his brother 3 months after. This was such a gut punch that I didn't think it was going to be, because when you hear like fake dating, I don't know, in my head, I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but I always think like, oh, fun, it's going to be fake dating and they're going to fall in love. And yes, they do fall in love, but just the characterization of this book was, I don't know, it was so well done. Jacob has like really high level anxiety and social anxiety. Brianna immediately knows how to work with him and give him what he needs. I felt so seen reading this book because a lot of the things that Jacob like goes through is things that I think about, in the sense of like when you have to go out with someone, like it drains your battery and you have to be around people and sometimes you need a break. It just really made me feel seen. It was so beautiful to see someone that has all of that it's easy for someone to not love someone like that, because for them to like go out, it's hard, and be around people, it's hard. And I don't think I have the social anxiety that Jacob has to that extent. Like, I can make myself do things and I'll be okay once I'm there. But some of the lines in this book, like there's a line where Jacob is talking about the fact that when he was younger, his mom would take him to like kids parties or whatever, but she would stay in the car just so that he would be able to leave if he needed to. And just knowing that he could leave gave him like a sense of peace. And I literally almost bawled when I read that, because that's how I feel. I hate feeling trapped somewhere. Like, I'll go out with friends and things and I like to drive myself. I don't like to get a ride, because me getting a ride would make me depend on leaving when that other person wants to leave. I like to know that I can leave whenever I want to. Most of the time I don't write, which is like the same thing that Jacob says. It's just the fact that you know you can leave, which brings you peace. I was like, oh my God. And then I won't spoil too much of the book for you because I think that you should go out and read it. But at the very end of the book, there's an author's note that the author's note almost made me bawl, because Abby Jimenez talks about how in 2020, she's like marketing her books and she's dealing with the virus, and she finds out that she has like an autoimmune disorder and it's affecting her kidneys. Oh God, I just threw that out. Please hold. She is dealing with this new diagnosis, and that's a lot of what the book is about too, because Brianna's brother got the same diagnosis and he's young. You're seeing not him dealing with it per se, you're seeing it from the point of view of Brianna, who's his sister, and she cares for him, and Abby talks about how that diagnosis like that affects the people that you love too, not just you. It made me so happy slash sad because she talks about how her condition has gotten better and the doctors didn't know if she was going to get better, if she was going to need dialysis and a kidney transplant and stuff. I'm happy that she's okay. Like, I don't even know the woman, and I'm so happy that she is okay. I'm glad she figured it out as soon as she did, because her prognosis was definitely better the earlier you find out when you have things like this go on. But anyway, this book really hit me in a way that I was not expecting. Like, I honestly thought I was going to start this video and just say like, oh yeah, these were fun, or oh, I hated this romance. But it's like, these books, and I can see why so many people love these romances, because they're not just romance, right? Like, they are about people's lives and they touch on very hard topics. Anyway, I can see why these are so popular. I'm not even doing makeup, I'm just talking at this point. And this is what happens when I like say that I'm going to talk and get ready. I end up not getting ready. So the book that is ready at the library is Love Theoretically, and I'm hoping that this one will be like the funny book that I'm reading, because I've been reading some heavy hitters, man. Emotionally heavy books. I will finish and I will chat with you guys when I have another update. Hi guys, it's been a while. I am here to kind of give you guys an update on this vlog. All right, let's track back to what happened. So I filmed everything I needed to film. The last time I gave you guys an update, I was going to the library to pick up Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and I picked it up and I read half of the book and I really disliked it. So it's been over a week, I think, since I filmed like the first clips of this video. But I kind of wanted to come back here and tell you guys what happened. I really disliked Love Theoretically. I read half of it, I tried, but I found myself not wanting to continue and not wanting to pick up the book. And because I was recently in a slump, I don't want to force myself to read something I am not enjoying. So that is why I have DNF'd it. Basically, I will give you sort of overall view of this book, and that is, I didn't enjoy the main character for the most part. I think that the romance wasn't very, it just didn't make sense, aside from the fact that he was tall and handsome, and there's a quote in this book that says that he's like a fridge. He's the size of a fridge and he's massive and this and that. And it's like, I should say that I can overlook things like that when I'm enjoying the book. But with this, I just didn't enjoy it. Like, I don't know how to say it, but the main character is supposed to be this really intelligent woman. She is a theoretical physicist. And this whole book, like the whole part of the book that I read, which was halfway through, she has no backbone. And I can't fathom like how she was able to get to where she is in the beginning of this book. Granted, she's not super happy, right? She's like a professor and she has 2 jobs because she doesn't get paid enough. And we keep getting glimpses of her students messaging her, like emailing her, basically like the gist is that they just don't care about her classes. At the very beginning of this book, she's interviewing for a job that she wants, which is a job to be a research professor at MIT, I believe. And the male main character, his name is Jack, he tells her off the bat she is not going to get the job. The female main character, you know, she's like, oh, he's the worst, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, they start liking each other, but it's just so, it just doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense. And I couldn't stand her. Like, another part of this book that drove me nuts is that this is like a copy of, I shouldn't say this because I obviously don't know for sure. Allegedly, in my opinion, this is a carbon copy of The Big Bang Theory, the show, but the main character is a woman. Like, think of Sheldon in a woman's body. She's also a theoretical physicist, and then Jack is an experimental physicist. These 2 branches have a rivalry going on, and our main character hates Jack on principle. She's also someone that lets her family walk all over her, Her friend doesn't even know that her favorite book, her favorite movie is Twilight, and that's because she can't help but try to please everyone. Of course, we have this massive man that comes around and tells her like to value herself. And I just could not stomach it. I just couldn't. But the fact that she relentlessly talks about how massive this man is, it's just like, are you attracted to anything else other than outright physical characteristics? Because I felt like halfway through this book, I didn't know who Jack was. I didn't even know who our main character was. She just was this like trying too hard to be witty physicist. And she also has diabetes type 1, which I did think was like some of the things that were mentioned about it were a little bit weird. So I went on like a scavenger hunt to try to find Own Voices reviews of this, of people that live with this disease. I did find one where the person said that it was not good representation. There's a part at the very beginning of this book that the main character faints on the male main character, and he like saves her, right? Damsel in distress. And she says that it's because her sugars are high. Basically, she just like is fine right after. And the thing is, like, I worked in the emergency room for a very long time as a nurse, and I know that most of the time people do not pass out from high blood sugar. It's most likely when your blood sugar is low, you faint, or you can even have something really serious happen, right? I'm not saying that you don't get sick if your blood sugar is high, but it has to be extremely elevated. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into specifics, but she wouldn't have been able to recover, you know, like just like totally fine in the next second. It almost felt like this was used as a plot device to get the characters interacting and him like saving her. And that was another thing, like she hated the male main character so hard for nothing. Like there was no, like he's never done anything to her aside from telling her that she applied for a job that he knew she wasn't gonna get. We find out why later, and that's not necessarily something that he did to her. That's just how things are. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into specifics. I don't want to spoil more than I already am, but I gave up on this and I'm kind of sad. But at the same time, I'm not, because this vlog got me reading 2 other books that I absolutely loved. So it's definitely not something bad. I just feel bad that I haven't updated this video in so long, because I was like, I just haven't had time. But basically that's what happened. I did pick up the book. I returned the book to the library after it was done when I DNF'd it. But I don't think I will be reading any more of Ellie Hazelwood's contemporary stuff. Like I don't know if I mentioned this before in the vlog or not, but I did read her paranormal book, The Bride, and I quite enjoyed that. So I guess I just don't like her contemporary stuff. I don't know. These characters, this character plus the Love Hypothesis character, who I can't think of their names, but they just feel like copies of each other, and this character more so of a copy, because I felt like the author tries so hard to be witty and copy The Big Bang Theory in terms of like the physics jokes and things like that, and I'm like, oh my god, you're like trying so hard and it's obvious. That's how I felt, and I feel bad, but what can you do? That's how I felt. I think this video was a tremendous success because I found 2 other books that I loved by 2 authors that I will definitely read from again. But yeah, this is my first little vlog style video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you did, and let me know anything else. Leave me a little star in the comments if you made it this far, because I commend you. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Goodbye.